A Toronto man is urging caution after he says he narrowly avoided a fake taxi scam. Stephen Lautens joins us live now with more on this. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. What happened here?
Well, it started off very ordinary. Friday night, my wife and I were out for dinner, and we stepped out of the restaurant at about 11 o'clock on Bay Street, and hailed a passing taxi. It was a bus taxi. I could see it, the light on. Thought I was in good fortune because finding a taxi sometimes isn't that easy. Had a very chatty driver, took us all the way home, and next we know, we're trying to pay, and he doesn't want cash. It's pandemic and subject for robbery. So I pass him a card, and he passes through the little reader. I try to put in my number. He says, well, connection error. It doesn't work. Do you have a debit card? So I swap it out for a debit card, and that one goes through. And then next thing I know, I'm inside with my receipt and all the bits and pieces. I throw all my stuff down on the kitchen table and realize it's not my debit card. I immediately go to my laptop. I lock all of my cards, and the next thing, I call Bex and I say someone's got my debit card, and Bex says that's not our taxi. It turns out later, and I learned just the other day, that the taxi, in fact, had been stolen from a Bex driver back in October, and is driving around looking completely like a Bex taxi. It has all the stuff, the plastic guard, it has the numbers, it has the light, it has the meter. And this is someone who's roving the cities of Toronto, trying to do card swaps and skimming credit cards as a scam. So I was lucky. I didn't lose any money, but I understand the person whose card that I was left with by the driver was out $1,500. He was, I guess, was the earlier person in this chain of scams.
Stephen, it's interesting we're having this conversation. I actually just found out last night that one of my closest friends was a victim of a taxi scam, and he lost about $4,000. He's gotten some of it back. I'm curious, what's your advice to people out there who are taking taxis? Obviously, we don't want to shun people from taking taxis. Obviously, it's a great way of transportation. But obviously, this is concerning and I'm sure very upsetting.
Well, it would be a lot more upsetting if I'd lost some money. I don't think there is any, my wife and I are there. I don't think there's any danger. I think they target people who are coming out of restaurants late at night, and what they're hoping is maybe you've had a couple of drinks. You're not going to notice the swapping of the cards because, watching, in retrospect, you look at it and you go like, there's enough things there that probably should have made me suspicious, but not one thing in itself was suspicious. And these people do, it's almost like watching close-up magic in Las Vegas. They're very good with their hands. They kind of, they're able to move things. There's lots of distractions, things that, should work, don't work. So you're kind of off your guard a little bit. And I like to believe the best in people as well. So, you're not that suspicious. This has never happened to me before. But I think, I always try to pay cash in taxis. But, I've used that same card from Hong Kong to London with no problems. So I'm really not that suspicious of someone doing these sorts of things. But, cash is always good, and the whole idea is never let your card out of your sight. But with plastic barriers between the driver and all the rest, and passing the machine back and forth, and again, it's all part of the distraction that keeps you paying attention.
You got to be on alert, that's for sure. And I understand police are investigating this incident. Stephen Lautens, thank you so much for sharing your story. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.